Right, we are live. And this is the point when we realise that we should be watching the darts with everybody else.
That's smart. You know what I love about this little bit here? The amount of people who message me and say, "Oh, you know our the little chat before you go on air? That's on the video, you know." It's like, yeah. Shame I didn't say something witty there, isn't it? Because that proves that it's probably wrong to have it on here.
Right, should we go?
Do it.
After a soul-destroying fall from grace, Stockport County are rising up again.
Never mind Epstein's list. Look at our bloody injury list. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of series 10 of the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport fan network. If you've been watching all this time, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for being alive and having eyes. If not, we'd recommend you leave now and start from series 1. I mean, I watched Teen Slut 7 at a sleepover when I was a kid, and because I've not seen the first 6, I did not have a clue what was going on. Nightmare. Yes, every Wednesday between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m, we are here bringing you all the best and latest in county news, views, and opinion with me, Nick Lee, and him, Russ Johnson. Hello, Russ. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed, and happy new series.
Happy New Year, as they say in America. Happy new series. Now, series 10, is it not?
Yes.
Well, what year was the first podcast?
It was January 2015, so this is our 10th series.
Well, was it? All right. For some reason, I thought it was like early. Yes, sorry, I've got my manager years wrong there. Yeah. January, and then Neil Young came in to save us in the summer of 2015. Don't ever let it be said that we're jumping on the bandwagon.
No, well, this is it. Yeah. I've said it before. I'll say it again. That we did the first podcast the day after we got beat 6-1 away at Wrexham in the FA Trophy. So, cheers.
And now look at us. Look at us all. God bless us. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done.
Well, I'm glad we've cleared the numbering up anyway. That's very important. It is the testimonials. Well, if you think about how many, if I look at my favourite TV, so films, Harry Potter, that got 7 books, 8 films. TV series, Peep Show, 9 series. Game of Thrones, 8 series. Although that probably deteriorated about as much as this has. So I think we're in good company there. We've got more series than Game of Thrones. We should do like a HBO version of this. You know, we're like more nipples and dragons. Speaking of nipples and dragons, we've got Waggy with us.
Good evening. How are we doing? Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
Who are we playing in the testimonial then for this season?
Oh, who have we got?
I think the Oldham lads. I think we play against the Oldham lads.
We're going against the Oldham lads.
Yeah.
Give them a kicking.
Yeah. What are they? Are they about 4 years in now? Are they 3 years in? Maybe 4.
Yeah, but we don't want to do it with the Wrexham lads, do we? Because we'll never hear the bloody end of it, and they'll beat us.
Yeah.
If we're doing it at their place, they'll beat us.
I was going to say, if it's at our place, we'll probably win, won't we?
Yeah, we'll just meet on that university car park on the last day of the season and just give them a good shoeing.
Sounds like a plan.
No, we should do it again. Do the testimonial against Neil Young Select 11.
So this is
just go. You've got 80 players to pick from.
Yeah, just go back then. Was it? I mean, I've lost like track of time now. It was January 2015 when we started this. Neil Young wasn't in post at that point, was he?
No, he was summer 2015. Alan Lord was manager, and then
Alan Lord, wasn't it? Yeah.
He announced. I think he announced in like February, March. He was stepping down at the end of the season, and then we got Neil and his revolving door for about 6 months.
Yeah, plenty of Scousers, weren't they?
Yeah, that was when I first started getting annoyed by John Kieran describing a player as the likeable Scouser. It's never the hubcap thieving over a sentimental shithouse. It's always the like. I mean, there's a few that fit that description.
Careful, because
Looking
if
at you,
Waggy's
John
got his
Rooney.
big speaker on, he's going
Oh,
for his,
yeah.
for his house.
You'll just see a hand come in and I'll just get a crack.
Great, and another stereotype to add to it. Well done.
So tonight, then, thank you for joining us. Because if you join us, I'm guessing that you're not interested in the darts. So I'll be going watching the darts as soon as this is finished. So cheers for joining us. We are going to talk about the Bradford match, Mansfield, injuries, transfers, either in or out. I say in, what we think is coming in, but what we know is going out, what we think is going out maybe as well. We're going to do getting reses. Yeah. And have
People noticed the new intro, do you think? I bet everyone tuned in after the intro had gone, didn't they?
Yeah.
That'd be
brand new
typical,
intro.
that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't watch any sport that is most commonly played by big blokes in the pub. Apart from snooker. I like snooker. But they're not big. You can't be a big bloke playing snooker, can you?
That's what extensions and rests are for the big blokes that can't get over the table.
That's true. That's true enough. Yeah. Don't need them, mate.
No spoilers for the darts. Fair enough. No spoilers for darts. Half and half scarce at the darts. Yeah, that can definitely get in the reses. Anyway, this is a football show. Let's keep it football. Shall we talk about Bradford? But first, let's just have this little video.
Used it again there. Good.
Yeah, I know.
Milking that. I miss him.
getting SARS withdrawals. So Bradford away then. Any of you go?
I watched. You went, didn't you? But Waggy's making a stand here. He's like, no, didn't even listen to it.
I didn't even listen to it. I was at St George's Hall in Liverpool listening to a orchestra play Pink Floyd songs.
Right.
I wish I'd done that instead.
Well, in hindsight,
yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing. You never told me this.
I've not seen you since, but yeah, that was. But Mrs. booked it ages ago, and I completely forgot. So I was like, get myself ready to resettle in and start watching. She went, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going watching." She went, "No, you're not." It's like, "Oh right, no, I'm not. What am I doing?" When we're going to Liverpool. So, oh right, okay, yeah. It was good.
She must really love you. That must be great.
I must really love her to miss Bradford.
Pink Floyd, though, innit?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely superb. It was absolutely superb. And like I say, St George's Hall is similar to the Stockport Town Hall, so there's like big sort of ballrooms and stuff. So the acoustics and everything were really smart. So yeah.
Well, that's the entertainment review. Scarlet Division are playing at the Spinning Top on Friday night. Entry's £5. No concessions because they don't make any concessions. Bradford, go.
Bradford. I went. I got absolutely drenched. What to say about Bradford? God, that was before New Year's Eve, wasn't it? One of my getting the reses is about Bradford, but I'm going to come to that later. What do we know about Bradford? It was a bit of a damp squib, really. There was a lot of nothingness, I want to say. Ben Hinchliffe kept us in it. I know that much. If he doesn't get December Player of the Year, then there's something completely wrong.
December Player of the Year? Bloody hell.
Oh, yeah.
I know December felt long, mate, but come on.
You know what? It did. It did. Someone's put damp squid, please. It's damp squib, is it not?
I hope he's joking. Otherwise, I'm going to start using that button to block people from the chat. Never had to use it before.
Anyway, yeah, God, it was so long ago now. What did it look like on the telly, Nick?
On the telly, it was a proverbial flying out of the blocks early on.
Yes,
and
I
it was
now.
One of them with forced corners. We were having shots cannoned away, and I thought, right, if we get an early goal here, we'll win this by 2 or 3 because we were all over them, and then we let them settle. I think there were points where they looked the better side. They're much improved under Graham Alexander. They are get your betting apps open now, folks. They're my tips to win the playoffs. I'll say that now. I fancy Bradford for the playoffs. Now they've got a proper manager who's got them playing, and they've got Young coming back on after he was recalled from his loan at Swindon. They'll bring some other bodies in. Like look fairly impressive in comparison to. I mean, I still maintain we should have beat them in the game at our place earlier in the season. But it was just horrible conditions. I think even without the conditions, we'd have taken a draw. I know we certainly said on here before Christmas that 8 points from the 4 is what we were expecting. Obviously, we didn't get that in the end. But I'd certainly have taken draws at Barrow and there. Andy Cook had that chance second half where he's absolutely hammered it, and Inchliff fairly close to being a point blank save that because he was off his line. I mean, there's so many things Cook could have done to actually guarantee he'd score that, but he's just put his foot through it, and it's a fantastic save. Akil Wright, very impressive. I think possibly his best game for us.
Wasn't it a foul just before that on Wright before Cook had his shot?
Yeah,
shouldn't it have been a
quite
foul?
Possibly. Yeah. I'm finding it hard to decide whether to pick on the ref or not. There was a couple of little baffling decisions, like things he let go that you wouldn't think a referee should let go, but then also points where he pulled play up when you wouldn't. But it was just a horrible. It was very enjoyable for a 0-0. If I was a neutral, I'd have enjoyed that. I think the atmosphere seemed decent.
Yeah,
it seemed like a proper two teams who were probably club wise are better than this league. You know, two teams you expect to be higher up the pyramid. It was just proper old fashioned English game, a tactical battle.
Yeah, it was a weird one for me because I drove, so I wasn't drinking, but I just can't remember any of it. And I think it's because I was too busy. I was too busy shivering for 90 minutes, trying to keep warm. I do recall actually they didn't have our badge for the big scoreboard that they had, and I just wondered why somebody not Googled our badge and put it on the big scoreboard. It was just SCFC.
Because when you Google our badge, it doesn't come up on the actual Google football thing. You know, when it comes up with like the table and your results at the start, our badge isn't on there yet.
Oh yeah, it's not on there. But if you just Google Stockport County badge,
yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for telling me how Google works, Russ.
Well, it felt like you didn't know where we were then. When I was
No, I was just assuming they were so lazy that they wouldn't look past the little thing that comes up at the top. They wouldn't click over onto
little shield. Yeah.
Little shield, yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming back to me now. It's to quote who was that? Was that Celine Dion?
Celine Dion.
Yeah. This was the match where Crowsdale miscued. So we did have some good. I remember now. We had some good ticky-tacky, didn't we? Tiki-taka going forward.
He looked like he was going to do a Jack Wilshere against Norwich. It was all set up for that kind of finish. And then the one person you don't really want it to fall to is Ryan Crowsdale, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick as well, just getting people involved there, just to remind me what happened.
Give you some mental notes.
Bradford pitch was poor standard. It was a bit horrific, to be fair, and it looked like an upside down pan. Do you know what I mean? And I was thinking, is that for drainage or is that just because it's shit? Yeah, it's weird.
I'm saying nothing about the pitch yet because we've got reses to do later.
Oh, okay.
Did it start slowing down the ball towards the end of the match, or was it that bad?
Yeah,
it was raining all the time, was it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, most of the time. On the wings, it wasn't even bouncing.
There's another downpour second half, and there was points where a player would be waiting for what seemed like a perfectly weighted pass, only to find that the ball had stopped dead about 2 or 3 feet from him. I think it's one of them. If the rain had carried on and there was a bit more of the game left, you're possibly looking at it being abandoned there because that's when it can get dangerous. That's when players can get themselves injured. You know, going in for a challenge to find the balls actually nowhere near them.
Yeah, Yeah. And special mention for Powell. I know Dave Philbin's mentioned him here. He was putting in some balls that they were to coin a phrase, they were ahead of Tanto. I mean, more ways than one. Do you know what I mean? So if there was one right where we were right behind it, and he sort of because we were at the side of the pitch, he curled it round 2 defenders with his right foot. Tanto didn't go for it or checked, and it just went through in the end. And I'm thinking, no one's seen that apart from Powell. But it's an absolute class ball. It's a class ball, and he did more against Mansfield, didn't he? And we'll come to that in a second, I suppose. But
I mean, if that ball gets to Tanto, he's going to be offside anyway, which is really frustrating me at the moment. He's got pace. He does not need to be offside.
No.
He can start 10 yards onside and still beat most defenders at this level to a through ball. It's getting very, very frustrating. I know, and he's getting a lot of criticism at the moment, Tanto. Well, he's according to people on Twitter, he's fucking wank. Apparently, you know.
Oh.
Well, they're sat there with like what's it dust all over their flaccid willies. He's getting paid to be a professional athlete, but he's wank apparently. Yeah, I've never understood that. You think of how many people play football in this country. It must be like 30, 35 million, and he's in like the top 1,000. Even players in like League Two are in the top 1,000 players in this country. It's like, well, he's specifically. I mean, I went off on one on Twitter about this on New Year's Day. But I was like, well, there's specifically not. It's all well and good giving like constructive criticism to players, saying, oh, he's having a bad run of form. But if you're wank, you don't score 13, 14 goals or whatever he's got in League
He's
Two
only
in half
done
the
that
season.
because we had Barry. He only scored them.
Oh yeah,
Barry.
sorry,
That was the only reason.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So we'll be
that,
all right.
That goal he scored in the. Those 2 goals, that goal he scored against Salford in the playoffs must have been because Barry was on the opposite side playing. Barry was on the same pitch, so that must have been why it happened. Yeah,
because Barry was on the pitch. That's why he scores.
Absolute madness. Absolute madness. The world's gone mad.
I feel like you're picking somebody out here. Is there somebody specifically that's
No, I think
that's grinding your gears with this?
There's been a lot of it. There's been a lot of it. It's just become a general thing that people don't seem able to say, oh, such a player could do this better. It's just, oh, this player's shit. So, well, they're very definitely not shit. They weren't shit when you're crawling up their arse for the first 3 months of the season, so they're not shit now. Just going through a bad run.
His first touch isn't as good as it has been. I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed with him at the minute. His first touch, it doesn't seem to be the ball's coming to him in his first touch, and he's bouncing away from him quite a bit, which I didn't notice that he was doing that when he was on form and he was scoring goals and stuff. So, as you say, it doesn't come shit overnight. We paid, what was it, 150 grand for him. So he's probably one of the only players that we've actually spent money on, I think, isn't he? Under Challoner?
Yes. Yeah, he is. Right. One of about 3 or 4, I think.
3 or 4 that we spent money on. So, yeah, he's not going to be. He's not crap. But it's just, as you say, it's people's perceptions and keyboard warriors.
Yes. It feels like it's already turned into Rezzers. Getting the Rezzers have come early. Rezzers. Get in the Rezzers. Get in the Rezzers.
Oh, we're not doing that yet. We'll do that later.
No, it's too early. Don't go disturb. I know it's a new series and everything, but don't go disturbing the equilibrium. God.
The other thing about Bradford away as well, a couple more things really that are coming through. Andy Cook face planting, that was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
did that come through on the telly?
I seen it. I think somebody clipped it and put it onto Twitter. That was funny.
Yeah. Sam Byrne tweeted it as well. It was must be something about Bradford away and players just falling on their asses. It would, to be honest though, I'm glad he did because I was shitting myself. Like Hinchliffe had come out of his goal and put it out for a throw, and then the ball, like he gets it off the ball boy, and then you think, oh god, here we go, and then just bang. So it's a very good job. Yeah, we got away with one there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to mention was, did nobody went off injured at Bradford? Did they? Seems like every game we get one. Did anybody go off injured at Bradford?
Nick Powell, but Challiner's comments were a bit. I'm not sure whether he believed he was actually injured.
He said he'd felt something, didn't he? And then that's why he got took off.
Right.
But Powell was also suffering with a bug along with Cottrell over Christmas.
Right.
So that's not gonna help either. But then Powell was back New Year's Day, wasn't he?
Yes. Which is that a sign of how stretched we are? I think he probably is, isn't it?
Yeah, think
possibly.
so.
But I thought he looked bright when he came on against Mansfield.
Yeah.
I thought he started. I thought he started how he finished his spell against Bradford on Friday. I thought he looked decent. When he came on, he looked very likely to make something happen, despite being at right back inexplicably at some point. It's like, but at one point, someone was showing for the ball over, and I looked over, and it's Nick Powell, like the furthest man back at right back. I was like, oh, all right, yeah, he's found himself some space then.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd have loved the Mansfield lineup then, wouldn't you? The number 9 playing
Don't want
left
to talk
back
about
and
it.
the number 3 playing left wing.
We have this every season, and so last season that number 9 was playing at centre back. I thought, well, he's slotting in there because the other centre backs are out injured, which was the case at the time. And then he stayed there for most of last season. And then when they came to play us in the second half of the season at our place, I think he was at right back, and then he played at both right back and left back. So he spent most of last season playing in defence, and they've not thought in the summer. At no point has Nigel Clough thought, "Oh, I'll change his." He's probably pissed like his dad, isn't he? But at no point has he thought, "Oh, I'll change his number." It really, really gets me. Don't want him to get promoted just because of that. Weirdo behaviour. Weirdo.
So on to Mansfield then. I think we've covered Bradford, but I will come back to that in getting reses. On to Mansfield. What do we say about that?
They did a job on us. They came and did exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to grab a 1-0, and the 2-0 was just because we were just pushing for it, wasn't it? And starting to make a couple of mistakes, silly mistakes at the back where we was trying to push forward. So I thought they were a very dirty team. I think they just knew where to stay on the right side of the law, if you like, didn't they? I don't know if the first 5 minutes, that tackle was it on a Horsefall or was it on?
On Horsefall, yeah.
Yeah. But that was so late. You know what I mean? Horsefall had bent down, tied his laces, and tucked his shirt in before he got caught, and he was sliding along the floor to him. So I don't know. It was touch and go. I think some of the times you might have seen a red card for that. And then the fellow that went in on Hinchliffe, I thought he didn't even get, because he obviously went off injured. But again, he chased. The ball came back to one of our defenders, and he legged it at the defender. The defender passed it back to Horsefall, I think, and he legged it at Horsefall, and Horsefall passed it back to Hinchliffe, and he went after Hinchliffe and just went straight through him. And to say, he's built like the side of a barn, in Hinchliffe, and he came off worse. But the referee, he should have got at least a yellow card, even if he was going off injured. It should have been, there should have been something against him, and that pretty much, I think, set the tone. They knew what they could do and what they couldn't do, and they just
I think he was very much entitled to go for it, but
it's I think we looked out on our feet, didn't we? I think we looked quite leggy. Pretty much the same team that's been playing all over Christmas and stuff like that. So these 2 weeks, it's a blessing in disguise.
I mean, we said, this is what we said, even at the end of that mental run we went on, even at the end of that run, we were saying for weeks that we looked leggy and we were getting away with it at points. So this was gonna. I mean, I've said it for about a month or so. Like, we can afford another blip. Yeah. All we have to do is just match what the form we showed in the first half of the season. That'll take us to about close to 100 points. That's promotion. That's it. So we can afford another blip like we had at the start of the season, and we're finding this is it now. We might find that we only draw at home to Walsall, and then Well,
But it's
judging
still-
by the news coming out, not so going to be managerless or with a new manager when we
Yeah.
play them.
sounds like it.
Um,
doesn't it?
so I think we're looking at an away win there. But it's just there seems to be a bit of an overreaction. I don't know if it's because everyone was just hungover from New Year's Eve.
I
don't
thought
know
it
if
was in a
that's it.
relegation
Everyone's got
battle.
sore head.
The way that
Yeah.
the way that it's all been going on. It was like, I understand. Yeah, you know, I mean, I think from the 3 games up to that, getting 5 points, I thought was decent. And if we'd have got a point against Mansfield, 6 points still, to me, wouldn't have been a bad haul over Christmas, considering the state of us, the amount of injuries that we've got. Mansfield came, did a job on us. We've got two players took off again. You know, whatever Pye done. If he's said, I think he said it was like on his ankle, didn't he? And then obviously Noel getting sparkled. So there's 2 players that have gone again, and yeah, I just think they were just very, very physical, and they just wanted. I wouldn't say wanted to injure players, because I don't think any footballer goes out to necessarily do it, but they wanted just to rough us up and just try and get us off the game. Because I thought the only thing I thought that they were good at was pressing. They seemed to press us quite a bit, but I didn't think there was
Aside from
anything else.
ourselves, that was the best pressing I've seen this season at Edgley Park.
I didn't think there was anything else. Anything else for them, really.
And we'll do that to teams before the season's out. We'll have to do exactly that to teams. And when we go and do that, people will be lauding it as a great performance, a great grinding out a win. That's what Mansfield did.
Yeah,
Fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've lost one game all season.
Yeah, they reminded me of when we played Leyton Orient.
I was just exactly the same. Yeah, Leyton Orient at home last season.
Yeah, streetwise, nasty, you know, experienced players, and they just did a job on us. You can't really argue with it, can you? You can argue obviously with Noel and Pye going off and going into Hinchliffe as well. You could argue that maybe they should have had a player sent off. I'm sure that one of their lads on yellow went in late or something. Did he? There's loads of people calling for a red card or something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it's just streetwise, and we've got to get a better. Let's face it, if we've got a full fit squad, that doesn't happen. I don't think.
No, I don't think we don't get bullied the same. And I think we I
do the bullying.
remember which game it is, but we've done that to teams. We've done that. So we've done that a couple of games where we've said we bullied them just the same as they did it to us. Because I think that was one of the things that we was definitely missing for last season. Certainly around that was, we were just not as streetwise, because I think we said it on air, didn't we? We didn't notice the dark arts that we employed when you seen it. Every single team that came against us were in the dark arts. So,
I mean, Chesterfield 2022, just before the end of that season, that away win we got there, that was Paddy Madden at peak shithouse that day. It was just we just ground it out, and it's one of the all-time great county away performances. And I don't agree with the Mansfield, some of the Mansfield players at the final whistle, like going straight over to goad our fans. It's like, well, no, you've got a very good away following who've made non-stop noise and created one of the best atmospheres we've seen all season. Certainly better than most of ours in recent weeks, but that's another conversation. Go over to them. I don't. There was echoes of when Chesterfield won 2-2. With their celebrations at the end.
Knots won 2-2 as well, didn't he?
Knots won 2-2. That's right. Yeah.
That's when they won the title.
Yeah. But I did like Nigel Clough and his reaction to his fans. He wasn't fist pumping.
Fist what?
Fist punching. He wasn't fist pumping at all, was he? He was just like a bit of a yes and a bit of a clap, and that's it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I think there was some people from the railway and complaining that when Noel went down, there's a few of them that started singing "Let Him Die." But I've seen a lot more Mansfield fans that said yes, they did, but it was a minority and they got shut down straight away by their own fans.
I'll be honest,
I think it's brilliant.
The amount of times I've sung that at an away game where a player has gone down with what you think isn't an actual injury, but then you soon realise, oh shit, this is serious. I'm a dickhead.
Yeah, but
It
let's be
didn't
clear,
seem
let's be clear,
like
though.
loads
I mean,
of-
you're not being serious. No one sings that actually
No.
wanting somebody to die, did he?
Oh, well. No, but you're right though. You're right. I remember being at one of the many reasons I don't ever feel the need to do Barrow away again when we played them in. I think it's an FA Trophy game when we were in the National League North under Alan Lord, and one of their players went down, clearly faking it, and me and my mate started singing. There's no segregation or anything, and me and my mate were in front of the bar that they used to have at that end. And me and my mate started singing "Let Him Die," and some Barrow fan behind us was like fully offended by it. Just like, but what a thing to sing! It's like, yeah, but he's not though, is he? That's the point. Look, he's up now. And it's just the Noyle thing. I think our players deserve a lot of credit for the way they played after that because 9 times out of 10, when there's a serious injury and a long break in a game like that, the game just fizzles out.
Yeah.
And the players will find it hard to concentrate because it's not just the teammate who's gone down; it's the mate as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but especially I think somebody said that he was unconscious before he hit the deck, so he got banged in the back of the head and he went out like a light, and then he's just gone down like a sack of spuds.
Yeah.
So
he was out before
and
he
then
landed on anything.
yeah,
you get everyone becomes a medical expert at this point. So I saw someone in a WhatsApp group posted a picture of the physios like right over his face, and they say, "Oh God, they're giving him mouth to mouth." It's like, well, mouth to mouth hasn't been a thing for years. Mouth to mouth. It's not a heart issue, so there's no need for CPR or anything like that. It's clearly a head injury has been knocked out, and no, they're not. Well, what are they doing then? Well, probably trying to get a response from him, trying to wake him up, trying to talk in his ear or something.
You see it from the Cheadle end. There was one of them holding his head.
Yeah, that was the one. It's like, giving him mouth to mouth,
holding his head, and it's like, well, obviously he's somewhat seriously got on. But yeah.
But the word is that he was out of Stepping Hill pretty much as soon as he. I've always wondered this. I can't remember who I was talking to about this last night, but I said I was going to bring it up on the pod. When footballers get taken to hospital, do you reckon they have to like wait in A&E like the rest of us? Like I had to the other week.
He was out cold though, wasn't he? They'll triage it as normal, I would have thought.
Depends.
I'm surprised he was out by like 8 o'clock. Apparently, he's done well there. On a Saturday as well. A Saturday in Stockport. I wonder how many police escorts were there when he was there. There's only the 2 when I was there. See, me and Kyle Noyle, we're like that. We're like 2 peas in a pod. We've both had trips to Stepping Hill in the last few weeks.
It's a good point though. Did they get fast tracked through triage and then seen by somebody because they're a footballer?
No, well,
he got taken in an ambulance.
If it's an ambulance job, then that's a priority generally, isn't it?
Oh, you'll be surprised, Waggy. My dad fell and broke his hip a few months back, and he was sat in the ambulance for 12 hours outside. Well, they found a bed. But he probably mentioned that he watches GB News, and then they were like, "Well, we're not rushing him through. Sod him."
There's your triage.
There's a good point. Might send them private.
He didn't. It was Stepping Hill.
Was it?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Steve Bellis.
Okay.
Steve Bellis is the authority on these matters. He discussed it with people and what have you. I think a few people texted him and messaged him asking for updates, and he put it out there that he'd been to Stepping Hill.
It's surprising
that you could see by which way the ambulance went. I'm assuming they're private for when they have surgery and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
So while
if it had been
we're on
serious, it'd have been moved to private, wouldn't he?
Yeah. While we're on this, the next topic the next agenda item, gentlemen, is injuries. So should we go through?
It shouldn't take too long to discuss that, will it?
Everybody's injured. Done.
Yeah. Just assume everyone's injured.
Let's do a I'm trying to think who what have we got here? Let's do an injuries one.
Flicked on by Armstrong. Open on goal. An astonishing one as well by Dowie. Yeah, that's incredible.
It's very fitting that you've chosen the Ian Dowie clip for the injury because he broke his leg in that game.
Did he?
Did he?
You don't know this?
No.
He broke his leg. He broke his leg he broke his leg in a challenge with Jim Gannon and played on for about half an hour after. In fact, it was first half. He got subbed off in the first half and walked off and everything. And yeah, people were taking the piss like, oh, they subbed him off because of the own goal. It's like, no, he broke his leg and played on for like 20 minutes after.
I did not know that. That's good trivia.
Yeah, it was a fair challenge by Gannon and everything. Won the ball, like great tackle, and then Dowie got a bit of treatment, like got up, carried on. Yeah, I'm assuming it was after the own goal because when he planted his foot after he'd leapt up from the header, that's not going to help, is it? A broken leg. He'd have felt that surely. But yeah, it's good bit of trivia that is. I'm a fan of that.
I like it.
He's not come up at the pub quiz yet.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Our injuries then. Well, let's talk about who we're going to get back first. I think is probably the best one to talk about.
I don't think we've got anybody back before February, have we? I think
Hippolyte and Southern Hales, I think, are first forecast back start of February.
Start of February, mid to late Feb. I think he said Sars and Collar, and then Barry, the major ones after that.
Oh, do you remember him? Do you remember Louis Barry? I feel like going all Peter Kay when I think of Louis. Do you remember Louis Barry? What was that about?
But we don't know anything about Pye, do we? As we've
no, he said they put him in a boot and they were going to go for the obligatory scan in the morning to see what was going on with that. And I suppose for Noel, it's just what's the if there's anything else that's been damaged with him being knocked out, but it's concussion in it, so I don't think he's allowed to play for 2 weeks now. Is it 2 or 3 weeks?
2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual protocol is, but
I saw a few people on Twitter this morning saying 8 to 10 weeks with Ethan Pye. I'm not sure if that's just people who know people at the club or know his parents, or if it's actually, I've not even checked to see if Sam Burns is the one who confirmed it. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, another dickhead. But we're on it tonight. Yeah, 8 to 10 weeks, but then it stops someone buying him in January. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about.
Didn't you say?
Why can't it have been 4 weeks?
It was a similar injury to Collars, and they thought that
he said it was
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been 4 months or whatever that Collar was out for. Yeah. So
he's got into the habit now, Charlie, of saying in his interviews, like when he's asked how long a player's going to be out for, he's like, "Well, it's going to be either 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months." Fair enough. Hedge your bets, Dave. It's the best thing to do because the way some of them have.
But he'll know because he's a physio. He's a physio.
Exactly.
He's physio trained, isn't he? So
yeah.
He knows his shit.
Might need a dual role soon if more of them keep on getting injured.
Well, can he be a bloody set piece coach as well? Can he teach us how to take throw-ins?
Oh.
Is that doable? I don't. It just seems there seems to be this school of thought that we're doing something wrong with having so many injuries. But look up and down the pyramid, everyone's got them. Look at Newcastle and United in particular; they've probably got the best facilities in the world and the best medical staff. And there's just constant injuries. I mean, that's not the reason United are shit, but
no.
But it does seem to be this season is that every team that you speak to, you know, I mean, when every away fan that we've had on for this, they've always said, "Oh yeah, we've got 5 or 6 players out. They've got this key player, this key player," and it's every single team seems to be the same. You say it's up and down the pyramid. It just seems, and I don't think. I sort of at the beginning of the season, I thought it was whether it was to do with, you know, the amount of ludicrous added time that they were adding on with this new rules that came in. But that seems to have gone by the by now. We seem to be, obviously Mansfield's different story, but the majority of the time we're getting 4 or 5 minutes added on, which is what we were getting last season. So it's as if they've curbed it that. But as you say, it just doesn't. It's a strange season. There just seems to be far too many people. Maybe it's the vaccine. That's what's causing it.
I'm really hoping there's like some of the boffins are writing a thesis on it or something. Because I'd love to know them. I suppose pre-seasons have been shorter.
That's what's causing it.
I wonder if it is a hangover from COVID though, where they had like that really short turnaround time in between seasons. I wonder if that's part of it.
So you mean overworked players?
Yeah, in terms of they didn't get a full pre-season to rest and recover. And then even though it's been more of a normal length of time pre-season since then, I wonder if it's still a bit of a hangover from that.
But we started early as well, though, didn't we, last year, because of the World Cup, and then there was the World
that's
Cup.
right.
So yeah, maybe it's
Well, answers on a postcard, please, to TSPW Towers, Stockport.
Last season, it seemed to be red cards, didn't it, at the start?
Yeah.
And we've not had one this season,
but
have we?
We've not had one in 2023, have we? I think that was one of the.
Is that West Brom and us, was it? Was that
yeah, West Brom and us are the only two teams that have not had a red card in 2023.
Yeah.
So we was all expecting a red card within 5 minutes against Mansfield.
So there's no red cards at the start of this season, no injuries at the start of last season. So maybe next season we'll have a season of no red cards and no injuries at the start, and we'll come flying out of the traps and absolutely piss League One.
Oh, loads of red cards and loads of injuries.
And come back down League Two. Do a Carlisle.
I'm gonna bookmark this right now. I cannot wait for this time next year where we're calling people out for whinging about being mid-table in League One. I cannot wait because it's going to happen.
Oh,
it's going to happen.
100%.
If you just all come to terms now that we might need 2 or 3 seasons in League One, just all come to terms with it. We can move on with our lives and just enjoy it when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm quite zen about it all.
We've said that before, haven't we? We're saying the difference from like sort of the top 5 or 6 teams to the rest of League One. That's where it's proper football, if you want. And it's probably not the best way to say, but it is. There's a difference in those top 5 or 6 teams that are going to be vying to go into the Championship. That's the next step that we need to take. So it's like, as you say, it's mid-table, build on that, and then take the next jump to be pushing for League One.
Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of a Leyton Orient fan and a Carlisle fan who are both signed up to Yellowboard, and they said the big difference is you'd be surprised at the gulf in quality between League Two and League One, and players that absolutely bossed it for them last season that they thought would step up have just been anonymous. Like Moxon at Carlisle, one that in the summer we'd all have been delighted to. I'd still be very happy to sign him, but
they won't mind getting rid of him.
By the sounds of it, I mean his contract's up in the summer, and there's still no news on him signing a new one. So that could be one to keep an eye on over the next few weeks. But they said like players just haven't stepped up as they expect to because there is such a gulf between teams who've come up and the top sides. I mean, Stevenage are almost the outlier. I think.
Yeah, they've done really well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
I think this is same going from National League to League Two. I think we noticed it I noticed it last season. As you say, in the National League, you get away with a lot more. I think that was the biggest thing. You could get away with the mistakes, whereas, as we say, beginning of last year, you make a mistake and you're 2-0 down. You know, it was ridiculous, and it's coming to terms with that. And I know everyone's going on saying about look how well the teams that have been promoted, you know, us 2 seasons ago, Wrexham, Notts, how well they're doing. But you've got to look at it. We were decent teams, and we were far too good for the National League, all 3 of us. And then, but they're saying it should be the 3 up, 3 down. But then they're saying 3 of the top 4 were, you know, promoted since 2020, but 3 of the bottom 4 have also been promoted since 2020 or 2019 or something like that. So it's being able to sustain that and getting used to League Two as quickly as you can.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Shall we move on to transfer rumours then? Since we just spoke about Owen Moxon, who's in the rumour mill? Who we thinking?
Dele Alli, Jack Wiltshire,
Johnny.
Jesse Lingard, apparently.
Chimanga,
Jesse Lingard.
Tom
I
Denton.
don't like to call people idiots on Twitter, but as soon as I saw that, I just thought, Christ almighty, turned down 130 grand a week in Saudi Arabia, but yeah, he's going to pick either us or Wrexham on 5 grand a week. Dickhead. Oh, God. I wouldn't...
He has actually signed for, on my FM, my Football Manager save, he has signed for Wrexham. He's played in Wrexham.
Oh, that's bleak.
Yeah.
Well, on mine, Steve Bruce is now Wrexham manager. Which is just mental, absolutely mental. Yeah. I still think Bailey will happen. I know.
Yeah, I think
we've
trying
been
to
kind
play
of
down,
non-committal. Yeah, I think it'll happen, but I think it'll be a deadline day thing. I think they're just
again
holding out. Yeah, again, yeah. But this time we'll be signing someone we've heard of on dead. Isaiah Kite is going to be loving it. Mate, Isaiah Kite's going to be outside the EP gates, like, we'll be loving it. What a time to be alive.
The way that Charlie said, though, he was like, they're not going to be held to ransom, and if we don't get Bailey, then we don't get Bailey. We'll go for somebody else. You know, he didn't seem very committed that we were going to sign Bailey, or that asked if we didn't sign Bailey. That was and I don't know if, Bailey's been a surprise.
Mind games.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe mind games. Maybe he's just, trying to, but as you say, Salford have sacked their manager, which was the one thing that we didn't want.
Yeah. To quote Brass Eye.
Yeah, pretty much what we didn't want. And they did say, well, there's no sign of Giggs taking over yet. I don't know who else I don't know who else is going to take over, but he said he doesn't want to go back. He said that's the worst 18 months that he's had in his footballing life at Salford. So
it would be of mine as well, I think.
Yeah, he'll just sit there and rot in the reserves for 6 months. So as you say, why not? But I think they aren't asking daft money, aren't they? After daft money for him, I've seen 150, 250k and all sorts.
I can't see it being as much as that, because that would be utter madness. I think that's just them playing the game because they know they've got a month. But from looking at their forum, the new manager isn't going to be one of the class of '92 lot.
Is it not?
No,
I thought that'd be the only ones we could afford.
Yeah, well, I just assumed it'd be Giggs or possibly Keane or even Scholes. Let him have another crack at being a manager, even though he's quite clearly shit. But no, by the sound of it, it's between like two others. Don't know who, but not Giggs, which is a shame. That would have been
a bit unfair saying that Scholes is clearly shit at managing. I think.
Oh yeah, he only did Oldham, didn't he? Sorry, yeah. I forgot. For some reason, I thought he'd been somewhere else.
No, and he was hung out to dry by the Lemsinghams, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'll take that back then. But he is a weirdo. Well,
I mean, I'm not disputing that.
Let's just let that be known that Paul Scholes is a weirdo.
Mark Morley says we need at least 4 and not experienced youngsters. Only if they go out, though, surely.
Well, this is where it gets interesting because we can only register, unless we let players go, we can only register 3 more players over the age of 21. And when you're talking, we need 5 or 6 more, possibly. Because, I mean, before Christmas, Challinor said we're looking at 4 coming in January. And then we've had more injuries since then. Pond has gone back to Wolves since then as well. Cottrell might be a case of him going back to Swansea as well.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one with Pond, because if Wolves have indeed recalled him, rather than... I'd imagine it was mutual, wouldn't you, really? Because he's not figuring for us.
He's not been playing, has he? So
no, and if we're looking at getting back to the back 4, which I think we are, then there's no place. We've got 4 centre backs that are ahead of him in the pecking order, but he's already played for Wolves this season, so he can't go and play for another club unless it's in non-league. Pond, so we might see him pitch up at Solihull or somewhere possibly. That's the thing. And another early example of Reza's, the amount of people who don't know that there's this rule when it's been done to death People say, "Oh, I'd like us to have Apter, who's just been on loan at Tranmere." It's like, yeah, he's gone back to Blackpool and he played twice for Blackpool here in the season, so it's people hanging the hat on players that wouldn't be able to play for us until the summer.
Yeah, I think there was talk I saw today of Apter going to Wrexham in the summer. Saw that doing the rounds.
But the same account that's been posting that also said Wrexham are signing Shankland from Hibs.
Yeah.
Who's going to be in the Scotland squad for the Euro? He's got a chance of being in the Scotland squad for the Euros in the summer. Do you really think he's going to risk that and drop down to League Two?
For £5 million.
And there's going to be like Championship and £5 million. £5.
No, he will. He'll drop down to League Two. He'll write a book, won't he? And then get a call up for his national team. There'll be a big campaign about it.
Yeah, he could get Wales to the 2026 World Cup or whatever.
He'll have written more books than he's ever read, which is often the case with footballers. Wayne Rooney's got like 4 books.
You're not counting my first ABC.
I am, yeah.
Rob Lander says, could both Evans and Lewis get recalled? I think that's a yes, isn't it? They both could get recalled. They
can, yeah. I think they can as of now.
Yeah.
I think possibly only Lewis. I think we might recall Lewis if Pye's out for a Lent and we've sent Pond back. I think that makes sense.
I think if we get to 2 or 3 days before the Walsall game and we've not added any midfielders, I think Evans will come back. But once we've got the players we need, I think he'll go to Wimbledon permanent because his contract's up in the summer. So I think that's what. Lewis, if we are going back to the back four, which I hope we do, I think Lewis alongside Horsfall will be absolutely spot on. It was funny seeing the not meltdown, but just Wimbledon podcasts and fan accounts on Twitter yesterday, seeing that Pond had been recalled and going, "Oh, I don't like this."
One of them put, check out the comments to this. It's absolutely terrifying.
yeah. But when I see something like that, I'm expecting like blatant racism or something. When I see like, oh, the comments to this are terrifying. I thought it was like racism and threats of sexual violence and stuff. And it's like, oh,
Evans and Lewis get recalled.
County recalling. Do you think he'll unregister, like, say, Stretton or something to be able to bring another player in?
I think Stretton...
Because you can change... You can change...
I don't think Stretton's registered, is he?
Is he not? Oh, because he was out before the beginning of the season, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Stretton's registered as it is.
We need a graphic, don't we? A Football Manager graphic.
Yeah.
Who's registered and who's not? Rydell is Rydell under 2021? Is he registered?
He's under 21, so he doesn't need to be, does he?
Right. Is he still under 21? Or are we falling into this trap again of just constantly assuming Ryan Rydell is under 21?
Oh, no, he's not.
He'll be having his testimonial and we'll be like, you don't have to be registered, it's great.
2031.
He's 22.
Oh. See, I knew it.
9th of February 2001.
Rydell's over 21 now. Confirmed. Yeah. Right. Shall we do getting reses? To finish off. Let's play the
reses. Get in the reses. Get in the reses.
I'm not having that.
Get in the reses.
Oh, getting reses.
Right.
Go on, who's having it?
I don't mind.
I think I'll go first because mine's non-Bradford related, and I'm guessing that both of yours are Bradford related.
Mine is, yeah.
Well, it was one thing that I noticed at Barrow, and again, we're going on about referees. Why do referees have to walk off the pitch at half time with the ball in their hand?
Oh,
if it's multi-ball, I know. Yeah,
it's multi-ball. It's not as if that's the match ball and nobody can tamper with it. It's not as if they can rub it on the crotch and fucking chip some bits off like in cricket or anything, is it? You know what I mean? But what he did was he actually walked over because it's at Barrow. You walk off behind the goal, don't you? So he didn't have the ball in his hand, so he went and picked one of the multi-balls up and then walked in with it. So it's like, what's the point of it? And I have actually tried looking to see if it's a rule to say that the referee must walk off with the ball. I've looked at the UEFA reffing handbook.
Wow.
And I mean, yeah, it literally took me 30 seconds to scan through it. And yeah,
I think it falls under remit 14A. The referee must always look like a busy cunt. I think it's under that. I think it fits under that purview.
That's what I mean. He literally went and picked up one of the multi-balls off the little cone and then walked in with it with his two linesmen next to him. So I'm like, please, somebody, is that a rule? Why? It was just absolutely bullshit. But every game, the referee walks off with the ball and he has to have the ball in his hand.
I think, because obviously a lot of these refs were bullied at school. You know, they spend all their lives playing second fiddle to actual
It's my
athletes.
ball, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I think that they're in the little referee's room at half time and they're like having a little kickabout amongst themselves, going, "See, we could do this."
Either that or they're putting a knife in it. We'll show them.
That explains a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. That was I was not expecting that. That's nice and niche. That is. That's really good. Yeah.
Well done. I like it.
There you go. See.
Right. I'll go next. Mine is away parking related. So for those you may or may not remember, but I got fined twice last season for parking. Once was at Bradford. So I thought this time can't make the same mistake this time. I didn't get fined, but I lost money. So I went on Just Parking to find a spot, thinking it'd be busy at Bradford on a Friday night. Didn't realise it'd be dead as a doornail. So parked ages away, went to this spot, and it must have been some sort of scam because I paid £8 for nothing, basically. Got there, the shutters were down, and there was a public car park just over the way for £1.20, and I've been reimbursed about £1.75. So definitely quids down. But then we had to walk from Bradford Centre to the ground, which was about 15-20 minutes. Met Roger on the way, who does watch the podcast. Nice to speak to you, Roger. Really pleased to meet you, mate. And got absolutely drenched. That's why I was wet. That's why I was cold. That's why I don't remember any of the fucking game. So that's my getting reses. Don't get a parking spot off Just Parking. is the moral of the story.
But I think that's true to this podcast, though, is obviously you didn't really do your research. You just seen Just Park and went, yeah, that'll do.
No, but that's what I thought I did, though. That's what I thought. I thought I'd done some pretty good research, got myself a parking spot and what have you. The bingo, that was the shutters were down when I got there. Anyway, that's mine.
God. Yes, they can both go in, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, sorry, you're having parking woes, Russ.
Yeah,
maybe we'll start a crowdfunder for you.
Yeah. Say again.
Oh. We'll start a crowdfunder for you.
For my parking.
And then you can just do what you want then.
Yeah. Trouble is, if you go on coach, you end up drinking, don't you? That's my other vice, you see. So I'd prefer.
I got fined at Bradford last season.
Did you?
Yeah, but mine's a company car, so my fine goes to my company, and then they're supposed to send the fine out to me, and then I have to pay it. They didn't. They sent it to my headquarters, which is in Rugby, and just put my name on it, and it got into Rugby, and it was only after they'd received 4 letters to say that this fine had not been paid, and you go into court and you're getting points on your license and all sorts, that I eventually got this letter sent through to me for, I think it was a £600 fine plus expenses. And I just went back to my company and went, what's this? Why? It was literally, I think, was it October when we played Bradford away last year?
October, was it a bit earlier than that?
Bit earlier than that. I think it was like either nearly Christmas.
It felt warm, so maybe it was October. I don't know.
It was either nearly Christmas or just after Christmas that I got my fine through, and it was like
Right.
£600. And I just went, what? No. This is the first I've heard of it. And they basically, they because they screwed it up, they paid my fine for me, and I didn't have to go to court or nothing. So I got away with it.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Nick says there was that can get in res as well. 6:15 pitch. So I had all my parking woes plus that in the middle of it. As soon as I started to park, it was 6:15. Dan's going, "Oh, don't pitch inspection." But I might just take Richard Louth's advice next time.
Just drive around in circles until something happens.
Just do that. Fuck it.
Best way of doing it.
Right, let's move on from the top of the episode. Nick, what's yours, mate?
The best episode in the world. Before I've got a cracking round of starting 11s ready to close the show. But first, mine surrounds the 6:15 pitch inspection at Bradford. 6:15 is late for a pitch inspection. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the rain had eased off most of the day. They'd had rain in the days previous. It had eased off during the day and then just got torrential again around tea time. So in this case, I know it's not ideal for people, but it makes sense. But what annoyed me about it and what I want to put in the reses is the people saying, "Oh, such a tin pot club. Oh, I can't believe your pitch is that bad." It's like, the clue's in the stadium name. It's called Valley Parade. It's in a valley. Like, it's going to suffer more. And if you look back to the start of the season, their pitch was fantastic. Really good. Like one of the best pitches around. I think similar to us, they've won loads of awards and stuff for the pitch. But in a valley, it will get a bit dicey in the winter. Just geography, innit? And that's just the amount of people tweeting Bradford saying, "Oh, you're so tin pot." Like Bradford's Twitter admin's going to go, "Well, actually, lads, right? He should have done. It would have saved a lot of bother if he just put a tweet out and said, 'Look, dickheads, do you do geography at school?'"
I think definitely goes in the reses because if there's one club that isn't tin pot in this division, it's probably Bradford, isn't it?
Yeah, regular 17,000 that they're getting.
Yeah. 19,000 won it, I think, for our match as well. So yeah, good one.
Can't argue with that.
And we've had a couple through as well. Railway and facilities might as well be in reses. And Nick, can you vouch for that? I mean, I've never been in for a long time.
Yeah, I would not put my worst enemy in there. I mean, well, I do, because my worst enemy, as we all know, is myself.
It's yourself,
and I do sometimes pop myself in there. It's that man of the people status I've got. You see, I want to be seen to be slumming it with all sorts, but the seat sniffers and mouth breathers that you get in there. Oh my god! I got a cold after the Notts County game because someone coughed on me.
Are we still on the facilities bit, or have you just moved on to everybody that goes in the railway end?
No, just everyone that goes in the railway end. Reses, get them in. I mean, to be fair, you could put them in the reses and they'd probably get a better view, to be honest. Because there's probably about 20% of the seats that you can't see anything because the crossbar's right in front of you.
Surely that's the same it's a lower percentage, but that's the same in the Cheadle end and behind every goal across the country. No?
Yeah, well, shouldn't be. They should use the technology for the crossbar that they use for invisibility cloaks in Harry Potter. Simple. It's a documentary, isn't it? Watched it over Christmas. It's a real life documentary.
Is that the title
sort
of the
it out,
podcast?
lads.
Is that the title of the podcast? The crossbar invisibility cloak.
It is now.
It'd only be one way though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They'd have to switch it. They'd have to switch it off when the action's coming towards there, and then you'll get all the people behind the goal going, "Oh bloody hell!"
Couldn't you just have it painted on the back?
That's what I mean. There has to be a one-way mirror, otherwise.
Yeah, like a one-way mirror. Yeah, they just need to put a one-way mirror.
Or just have it as like a ribbon, like they used to in the early days of football.
Yeah.
They used to have a ribbon or a piece of tape, didn't they? There's no rattling the crossbar back in them days.
No.
Just a snap.
Should we move on to the quiz at the end?
Let's do it. We're going back in time. Well, I mean, it'd be a bit pointless if we didn't go back in time with this quiz, wouldn't it? Really?
Let me just play a transition. Ready? Go.
Here's Armstrong. Yes! Oh, what timing!
So, it's interesting they should choose that one. So we are going back to, let me just double check the date. We're going back to the 7th of January, 1996. Any ideas who we were playing that day?
A
Millwall.
football team.
It was Everton away in the third round of the FA Cup.
Oh God, was it right? Okay.
Yeah. I thought with it being FA Cup third round weekend, I thought we'd, given we've not got one of our own to look forward to, that we're actually very happy about now. Like, at the time, we were livid, just like it's a wasted opportunity that is. But in hindsight, it's like, yeah, cheers, lads.
Yeah.
So,
Waggy, don't be looking at the comments, Waggy.
yeah, and you two have got the
just seeing
spreadsheet now.
Another Rezzers one that says music when the players are coming out.
Yeah,
We'll get on that next week. We've got a lot of chatting. We've got a lot of time to fill next week with there being no football, and if there's no signings, I don't know what we're going to do. So I've got to get it ramped up somehow. If you're in the comments, please don't ruin it. We're more than capable of doing that ourselves when these two can't even name a single player that played in one of the most iconic games in county history. So yes, the game is Everton away in the FA Cup, 7th of January 1996. The game we are playing is starting 11s. Russ and Waggy will take goes after each other in a sudden death penalty shootout format where they have to name a player who started in the county lineup for that match. If they name a player who came off the bench, they get another guess. If they name a player who didn't start, they've missed. Yeah. Sudden death. So don't go panicking just when you get one wrong until the other person gets one right straight after. Okay. Play the quiz music, please. There we go. That was suitably tense. I need to time that because there's a bit of a few second delay. Yeah. Chris Tarrant doesn't have this shit. Right, Russ, you're up first, mate. Give me a player from that 11.
Ian Halliwell.
Correct. Waggy, over to you.
Flinney.
Mike Flynn is a yes. Russ.
Neil Edwards.
Neil Edwards was in goal. Yes, he was. I love the feeling of power I get from this.
Jim Gannon.
Was Jim Gannon in the 11? He was not, Waggy, and he didn't come off the bench either. So Russ, you can win it with this one, mate.
Chris Bowman.
So sorry, some adopted Scouse knobhead was talking over you. Try it again.
He's already won it because he's got 2 right and I only got 1 right. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, he went first. Didn't he? Oh, anyway. Sorry. All right. The first one of the year, but yes, Chris Bowman was right anyway. So you sealed it. Well done, everyone. That went really well. I still need to get the proper dramatic music at the end. So the lineup for that game was Neil Edwards, Sean Connolly. Go on, keep going, yeah.
Yeah, Sean Connolly, Lee Todd.
Yep.
Flinney. I think Matt Bound. Was Matt Bound? Yeah,
he was. He was.
You had.
So you have got 1, 2, 3, 4 to name.
Alan Armstrong.
Yes.
Tom Bennett.
Very nice. I was hoping you'd get him. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 to go.
Say Kieran Durkin.
Nope.
Did he come off the bench?
Nope.
Oh, so that's me out then. There we go.
Okay. Any ideas on the? We've got 2 more to get and 2 subs.
Jeffers.
Jeffers is a yes. The other player in midfield was very good. It was indeed, yes. And the 2 substitutes were Tony Dinning and Martin Chalk.
Martin Chalk, who
I was really hoping we'd get to the stage where Martin Chalk was the only one left and just see how long we're here for.
Nice.
Yeah, more of that next week.
Yeah, good. Like it.
Can't wait.
Right. Let's call it a day. Thank you for watching and listening. Please do like the video, rate, review us, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be back on Monday with the Courtyard Club Call with me, Waggy, and Dan. We'll be back next week for our weekly show, hopefully talking about transfers. And that's it, because we'll have no injuries back. No one's going to be fit. It's just going to be transfers. Oh, we didn't talk about Eric Bristow, did we? Ethan Bristow. We'll talk about him.
I saw a few people asking what squad number they think he'll have. I'm calling it now number 23. 23 is a suitable left-back number as far as I'm concerned. So
right. So you weren't.
It's been freed up by Chadwick, who is another player who we didn't talk about who's left.
This is true. Yes. Yeah, we didn't. We'll talk. We'll do a bit more of a deep dive on that, because hopefully there's some activity, and we might even get a graphic going with the players who are registered and things like that. I'll try and knock one of those up.
Get some more Football Manager screenshots.
Yeah. So yeah, cheers to everybody for that. And we will see you next week.
Nothing fell on my head during the quiz this time.
Nice.
The guitar moved.
This episode of the Scarf Bagara War was written, recorded, and produced by Russ Johnson and Nick Lee. The music on the opening titles was produced by Dan Johnson. Subscribe wherever you get your content, as well as finding out how to join the TSBW fan club. Check out the links in the description, or go to allthews scarfbagarawar.co.uk.